This is James Elder for iFL TV in association with Mackley's Gym Marbella. It's Big Fight Week. We're in Vegas. With me, I've got one of my favourite journalists on the scene, Mr. Steve LILLIS. How you doing, Steve?
I'm good, thanks, James. How are you? Good seeing you out here, mate. But I'm a bit worried that I haven't heard any rumours of you partying out here, which is all reports, not rumours, reports. I'm a bit disturbed by this sabbatical you're having from partying, so I can tell Coogan you've been on your best behaviour here so far.
Yes, indeed. I'm used to flying the flag, as said, with my Hatton-esque sort of behaviour, but I've reeled it in for the last 12 weeks.
You have,
Steve.
mate. You're looking well on it as well.
Looking all right, mate. I've been to the gym twice since I've been here, which is more than I've been in the gym at home for probably a couple of months.
You're looking good, mate.
Yeah, likewise, mate. What's happening then? How are you finding it so far?
I'm enjoying it. Always enjoy Fight Week out here. Lucky to have this job, you know. As Floyd Mayweather would say, I'm blessed.
Blessed, truly blessed. Speaking of which, I've got to say, Steve, I was a bit envious today. You got the nod, you know what I mean? You managed to get a sit down with Floyd Mayweather, speak to him one-on-one. Did he mention he felt blessed?
He may have done. You'll find out if you listen to the Bunce Boxing Hour. But I think Floyd might have slipped it in once. But you'll see the interview people at Bunce Boxing Hour, 7 o'clock on Friday. I think it's 7 o'clock on Friday on BoxNation.
Yes. I've got to say, for an event of this magnitude, I expected probably more world press. To get the access you have, and he's been quite accessible this week.
Yeah, he has.
Far,
Yeah, he's been very good this week. I mean, you know, he's been in quite a good mood. You know, before us, I think he'd done ESPN. He came into us. His last interview, there was a big entourage behind him while he was filming, but he was pretty relaxed. He was. I think when he came in, I think he liked that I commented on the. I think it was a Gucci polo shirt he had on. At the Grand Arrivals, I think it was Gucci, and I commented on having the top. No, there's a big north-south divide. We've got into fashion here, James, now on polo shirts and top buttons, and I'm a great believer that the top button of a polo shirt has to be done up.
Yes.
And the problem is a lot of northern people don't do them up, and Floyd had his top button done up, and I made this comment also on Facebook, and Richard Poxon, he was incandescent with rage that anyone would dare put their top button up on a polo shirt. But Richard is from Sheffield. Lovely man that he is.
I can't take Poxon seriously. When I found out he's got a curry house picture from a curry house hanging in his front room that he stole from his local curry house, and you know what you did, Poxon. I can't take him seriously after that stuff.
I hope you're copying him in on this.
I will, mate. He watches all our stuff. He likes to get involved a little bit. Let's talk about the fight then.
Yeah.
How do you see it going? Potentially, he's billed as his last fight. We've all got our thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on it, Steve?
Look, I think he'll have a 50th. You know, I'm not going to doubt for 1 minute that in his mind right now, he says this is the last fight, 49-0. I'm not going to argue with him when he says that. He's insisting it is, and last time was a sabbatical. I mean, of course, I think he retired. I think it was after some people say Zab Judah fight, but I thought it was the Carlos Baldemir fight. He initially announced his retirement around 2006.
Yes.
And he did it, I think it was in this facility. I think he did it just to the right of us here at the press conference after the fight, when he broke down in tears, said he was retiring. He was 31 then. Floyd then, 2-3 weeks later, announced the super fight with De La Hoya, which was a record breaker the following May at the time. Broke all records, I think 2.4 million pay-per-view buys. It was a good fight. And then, of course, several months after he defeated Ricky Hatton in 2007, I think in the June of 2008, he announced his retirement again. And that scuppered a planned September rematch with De La Hoya. That fight didn't go ahead. Oscar went and fought Manny Pacquiao in December of that year, and his career was ended in 8 quite savage rounds. That fight rematch never happened. I mean, we didn't see Floyd. I think it was about September 2009. He fought one Manuel Marquez, and since then he's been active, and it comes to an end on Saturday. So he says, yeah, I think my personal feeling is he'll go for number 50. I think he loves training. He loves being around fighters. He wants to boost Mayweather promotions. He's going to be in the gym still all the time, seeing them young kids train, and he might just think, I want a bit of that. I want to get in that ring and spar. He'll feel good again, and next May we'll see him back in a super fight. Now, who against, I don't know. I won't be shocked if there was a rematch with Manny Pacquiao, because despite the one-sided nature...
You've been listening to Peter McDonough, haven't you?
No.
He harps on about this constantly.
You know what? Even though we were talking to Peter just now, and I said to you, Peter, I haven't heard from him since, weeks since I've heard from Peter. No, and I think he'll fight him in a rematch. He'll take much, much less money than what he got for the first one, the $300 million. But even if he ends up with $80 million, a fraction of it, you know, that's a quarter of it or whatever. I'm not great at maths. It's still more than he'll get for any other fight out there.
I was going to say that though, when you're capable of earning a minimum of between 50, 80, $100 million in one night, and you're a winner, you're used to winning, you're used to getting that kind of money, how do you turn it in? How do you say to yourself, right, this is the moment, I call it a day?
He loves money, and I think he loves the challenge. He loves boxing. You got to look at him. You know, the anecdotes I've heard of him over the years. He's one of these guys who, you know, he'll go to a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the morning, meet friends there. They'll be having a drink. He'll be buying them rounds at 3 o'clock. He'll go and have an 8-mile run, go back home, shower. Someone will come and pick him up and take him back to the club. You know, he's so dedicated. You know, we see this side of him. You know, on podiums, at press conferences, saying the stuff he does. You know, he is so dedicated to the sport. He, you know, okay, people say, you know, some of the, you know, he does get some bad publicity, but if you know, he's not really a role model. But as a boxer, he's a role model. How you live. See, if I, you know, if I was a trainer and I had some prestigious, some fantastic talent in my gym, and he said, "How do I live?" He'll say, "Go and go and spend a month watching Floyd Mayweather train."
Yes. Got to come on to this now. Probably the biggest fight since he took on Carl Froch in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. George Groves challenging for the WBC World Title against Badou Jack. What do you think of it? What chances do you give the Saint coming into this?
I'll give him a big chance of winning, and I'm going for him to win. But I think it's a lot harder than what a lot of people think. You know, George has had a couple confidence boosting wins since the fight, but you look at it, you know, I think people are reading too much into that one-round loss against Derek Edwards. You should be giving him credit for bouncing back and beating Anthony Durrell and becoming world champion. Too many people from the win against Durrell are reading into what Durrell says about, I had an off night. Well, you know, he lost. And this guy, look, it's his first offence. You know, his mentor's undercard of his final fight. He's been training in the same gym. He's the home fighter. He's been disrespected by the odds makers who make George Groves favourite. He's got every reason to get in that ring more fired up than ever. Saying that, I think he gives George a really, really hard fight, but I think George comes through in the mid to late rounds and will know he's been in a fight afterwards.
George Groves issued a statement today that he thinks he's got the capability to stop Badou Jack. He doesn't see this going the distance. Hey, do you share that belief?
Yeah, I think he wins inside the distance. But it doesn't mean it's an easy fight by any stretch. What's quite incredible, not incredible, interesting. George has got amazing confidence, despite the 2 losses to Froch and a couple of sort of not low-key wins, but wins where he may not have looked at his best.
You like referring to like the Rabras?
Christopher Rabras.
Again, we saw Callum Smith took a long time to get to grips with Rabras. He's a very tough man.
He's come through. But he's never been short of confidence. And Jason McClory, the matchmaker for Frank Warren, he used to manage Badou Jack at the start of his career.
Was that in Sweden, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think he was boxing out, so professional boxing was banned. He had him for 3 or 4 fights, Jason was telling me, and I said, well, did you ever think he was become a world champion? And he paused and said, yes, not for his ability, but because of this incredible confidence he's got. So them two are going in there, and they've both got
supreme confidence.
Yeah. And it isn't a fighter who will say to you, look down on the floor and say, yeah, I'm going to win. They go in that fight and they both believe they're going to wipe the rest out, and that makes for it, you know, as a potential show stealer on what, you know, people are giving Mayweather a Berto stick, but it's a fantastic undercard. Don't forget we've got the rematch also of Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido.
Great fight.
Brilliant fight. They had one of the fights of the years, and so they go again now. A lot of rematches don't go as you know, it's been a brutal first fight. They know how deep they have to go to win. But when there's Mexican and Puerto Rican rivalry, it tends to do it.
All right, well, listen, I said last before I want to go, I want some diet tips for all the people watching at home. How have you done this? How have you shedded your weight like a snake? How have you shedded your skin?
There's no diet tips now. I just eat carefully. The diet was all done last year. I just train like a lunatic and get up out here at 6 o'clock every morning and run down that strip for about 7 miles.
I've been trying to catch you.
And if you run down that strip at 6:30 in the morning, the sights you see. I left there the other morning and within 50 yards, I was asked by an Elvis impersonator if I had any money. He looked like he hadn't washed for days, but he had the Elvis kit on, was an Elvis impersonator. And 2 hookers come outside of Denny Denny's asked if I wanted to do any business. I said, I'm an athlete, love. I'm here to run.
Only in Vegas.
Yeah, only in Vegas. I tell you what,
Only in Vegas.
if someone like Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters come here at 6 o'clock in the morning, that'd be Bane's next video.
I'll bet. I'll bet. Listen, Steve, always a great pleasure,
It's
mate.
fantastic talking
Thank
to you,
you
James.
for spending a bit of time here, and we look forward to catching you again real soon.
Thank you very much.
Top man, Steve. Thank you, mate.